It's 3:47 a.m. in Russia. The night is silent, the air heavy. Until four mysterious objects appear on radar, racing toward Moscow at nearly 380 kilometers per hour. They're too small, too fast, and too low for the radar to track properly. To the operator of the S-400 air defense system near Ryazan, they look like birds. But birds don't fly in perfect formation, and certainly not straight toward Russia's biggest oil refinery. At 52 kilometers from the target, one of the drones, a Ukrainian Beaver, suddenly climbs to 800 meters. The commander realizes the danger. If he fires now, his missile will take 27 seconds to reach them. The drones, flying at top speed, will enter the S-400's dead zone in 41 seconds. That gives him only 14 seconds to decide whether these are real threats or decoys. He hesitates. Each interceptor costs $2 million. His training says, wait for confirmation. But the radar signals keep closing fast. With only seconds left, he fires two 48 N6 missiles. They streak into the sky, hitting Mach 6 in seconds. Then the impossible happens. The drones dive sharply to 200 meters, vanishing below the radar horizon. The missiles lose their radar lock and explode harmlessly in midair, shredding empty space. Now the refinery's last line of defense, two Panzer S-1 systems, kicks in. The radar struggles to detect small drones barely 0.1 square meters in size. The operators can only see flickers on their screens. They swing their twin 30mm cannons, but the hydraulics are too slow. In seconds, the first drone strikes, then three more hit in sequence. A massive explosion follows. Storage tanks erupt. Flames rise hundreds of meters. Within 90 seconds, 140,000 tons of petroleum ignite. Moscow's fuel supply is slashed by nearly 40%, but this is only the beginning. 470 kilometers away, another wave of 12 drones is incoming. This time, Russian air defenses are ready, or so they think. 3 Panzer batteries form a perfect triangle with overlapping coverage. Each radar can track 20 targets and engage 4 at once. They've studied Ukrainian tactics and believe nothing will get through. Then 4 drones climb sharply to 500 meters, making themselves easy to spot. The Russian radar instantly flags them as cruise missiles, KH-101s, and alarms blare. The reason? The drones have deployed small, corner reflectors made of aluminum that bounce radar waves back stronger, fooling the system into thinking they're large targets. The battery commander reacts by the book. Cruise missiles must be destroyed first. Dozens of missiles launch, worth millions of dollars. But the radar images start multiplying. 4 become 8, then 16. Each drone keeps dropping more reflectors, creating the illusion of more targets. The Panzers waste their ammo chasing aluminum foil while the real attack comes from behind. 8 smaller UJ-22 drones approach low from the opposite direction, just 50 meters above the ground. The radar can't see behind without physically turning its heavy turret, a process that takes nearly 5 seconds. By the time the Russians react, the drones are already too close. The missiles can't arm in time, and the guns can't track their random up and down flight paths. Only one drone is shot down. The rest hit their targets, destroying parts of the refinery while the Panzers are still reloading. A 90-second window of total vulnerability. But Russia adapts. At another site near Voronezh, a new weapon appears: electronic warfare. As 6 Ukrainian Beaver drones approach, their GPS signals suddenly vanish. Communication dies. Navigation screens turn to static. A Krasuka 4 jamming vehicle floods the airwaves with power thousands of times stronger than the weak satellite signals the drones depend on. It's like trying to hear a whisper inside a roaring jet engine. The drones switch to inertial navigation, relying on internal sensors, but those drift over long distances. After an hour in flight, their coordinates could be off by hundreds of meters. The computers heat up, struggling to keep processing data. To survive, the drones start shutting down non-essential systems. Lights off, transmitters off, anything to save energy and lower temperature. Every watt saved keeps the brain running a little longer. With 30 seconds to impact, one drone finally identifies a pattern. 3 fuel tanks casting a distinctive triangle of shadows under the moonlight. It locks on, but the jamming blocks all communication. The lead drone tries one last trick: frequency hopping, jumping through hundreds of radio channels per second until, for a brief microsecond, it finds a clear one. It transmits the target coordinates to its teammates. All 5 adjust their paths and dive. The first warhead hits perfectly, igniting the entire storage area. The fire spreads fast, and as the smoke clears, Russian radar picks up yet another group of drones, this time heading toward a heavily defended airbase at Primorsko-Akhtarsk. The base is protected by 4 TOR-M2 air defense vehicles encircling Su-35 fighter jets. On paper, nothing can penetrate it. But the drones aren't flying straight. They weave side to side, a snake pattern that wastes fuel but forces the TOR's computers to constantly recalculate intercept points. Each small error adds up. When the TOR systems finally fire their missiles, they're already slightly off. As the missiles close in, the drones pull up sharply, climbing hundreds of meters in seconds. The missile's control fins can't handle that angle. They stall and miss. Only one missile scores a hit. While Russian defenses focus upward, more Ukrainian drones slip in low from the sea, just 5 meters above the water, invisible to radar. They fly straight into the base's drone storage hangars. Inside, dozens of Iranian-made Shahed drones sit fueled and armed. One beaver hits the roof, and the entire hangar explodes upward before collapsing. 2 more hangars go in quick succession. Within a minute, the base loses hundreds of millions in equipment. Smoke covers the runway. The fighters can't even take off. But Ukraine isn't done yet. 2 modified beavers push deeper into Russia than ever before, toward Penza, over 600 kilometers from the border. Normally, this would be impossible, but engineers replaced part of the warhead with extra fuel tanks, extending the range to nearly 1,000 kilometers. A Russian Su-35 detects them and gives chase. The pilot locks on with his radar and launches 2 R-77 air-to-air missiles. These have their own radar seekers, capable of homing in without further guidance. They accelerate to Mach 4 and close the gap fast. The drones start spinning and rolling wildly, trying to confuse the missile's sensors. One missile detonates near a drone, peppering it with fragments. The second hits directly, destroying another. The damaged survivor keeps flying, barely holding together. Its navigation computer calculates it will miss the target by 40 meters. Too far. With only seconds left, it gives everything. Full throttle, last-second course correction. The drone slams into a building at high speed. The explosion isn't massive, but it doesn't need to be. The building is a semiconductor plant, filled with delicate machines, cleanroom filters, and wafer equipment. The blast sends microscopic dust everywhere, destroying equipment worth tens of millions. Military chip production halts instantly. Replacing it will take months. By morning, Russian commanders are panicking. They start moving air defense systems from the battlefield to guard factories and fuel depots. But every system moved from the front leaves a gap, and those gaps become open lanes for Ukrainian artillery and HIMARS rockets. In total, Ukraine spent less than $500,000 on drones that caused tens of millions in damage and forced a complete shift in Russia's defense network. But the real success isn't the physical destruction. It's psychological. The message is clear. If Ukrainian drones can reach Penza, 600 kilometers inside Russia, they can reach anywhere. The attack proves a new kind of warfare, one where intelligence, software, and timing can defeat size, armor, and even billion-dollar defenses. Each wave of drones wasn't just an attack, it was a test, a lesson, and a statement. And on that quiet night in October, the world saw it happen live. The moment brains beat brute force.